What is going on, guys? Horizon here. With the Winter Major having wrapped up, we can now take time to reflect on all that occurred and start to break down what events shaped the course of this major. And out of everything that happened in the events, there was one match, one game, one moment that really shaped how this major was going to play out. So today we're going to be taking a bit of a deep dive into the group stage match between G2 and BDS, where I believe the biggest turning point of the tournament lies. Before we jump into this though, as always, if you guys do enjoy the content, enjoy pro replay reviews, enjoy my ridiculous personality in general, I would greatly appreciate it if you can go ahead and click that subscribe button right down below, turn on notifications, give the video a like, all that fun and exciting stuff. As of recording this, we are about 5 subscribers away from the next subscriber milestone on the channel, so if we can push ourselves over that line, I would really appreciate it. But with all that said, we are going to hop into the middle of the match between G2 and BDS. This is going to be Game 5. At the time that this occurred, BDS had won 2 games, coming back, and we're trying to reverse sweep G2. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the first goal from G2, then we're going to fast forward to the final minute, let that play out through overtime, and we'll see kind of what we can pick out in the important moments in this game. So we're going to be looking at the perspective of Mark by 8 here. No particular reason for the majority of the game, but there is one moment later on that we will definitely be looking into in a little bit more detail. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and kick this off with a Monkey Moon clear. Now, one thing that Mark by 8 is known for is being absolutely disruptive as all get out. So it's in his nature to go for a bump here, and as soon as Atomic jumps, it is again in his nature to go for this boost. Unfortunately, JNAP swipes him from him, so now he's in a bit of a rough spot. He has to rotate back. Does a nice job avoiding the bump from JNAP there. Now, I will say, as we're entering the segment of play that's going to result in this goal, with how disruptive Mark by 8 is, I would love to see him make a slight turn and go for Atomic here. Because if he can get Atomic out of this play, he just completely deletes the majority of pressure from this G2 attack. But because he kind of just goes right on by and lets Atomic stay in the play, the Atomic's going to cause some problems in a moment here. So he goes past Atomic, picks up this boost, and he goes on the back wall. This is all perfect. This is what we'd like to see. But now he has to notice, in this challenge with JNAPs right here, challenge between JNAPs and Extra, is JNAPs gets bumped. So right now, immediately, Mark by 8 should be going for this ball. Because if we look at the positioning where everyone is, JNAPs is going to be falling out of the sky. Atomic and Chicago are both facing forward. If he can beat a G2 player to this ball and clear it over the top, all Monkey Moon has to do, he's going to have 2 options. Either A, Extra is going to be landing downfield, or B, Monkey Moon can turn and be ready to play this clear. But there is currently an open backfield, so there may actually be an opportunity for a BDS counter attack here if he just goes faster. The problem is he kind of just chills on this backboard and lets Atomic attack the ball. And now he kind of has to read where Atomic's touching this and get a block. So now he's playing reactive when he could have taken control of the play from the beginning. Now I will say he does a great job of getting this block and rotating back around. And now this is just really unfortunate. And I think this is going to be something that comes into play a lot more, is fake aerials. Because at this current moment, Monkey Moon and Mark by 8 are both just absolutely glued on JNAPs. It's like, okay, what's JNAPs going to do? They're not even thinking really about who else is around or what else is really going on. So it makes perfect sense that they're tunnel visioned on JNAPs. But now, because JNAPs has such control over what's going on, all he has to do is just not touch the ball, and bang, there's Chicago, to immediately slot this ball right into the back of the net. Now, I will say Monkey Moon and Mark by 8 are probably about as well positioned as you could be in this situation. It's just that Chicago can shoot the ball pretty much anywhere, and he picks the perfect spot right behind both of them. I think if Mark by 8 challenges off the backboard, he has 2 options. If he either A, demos Atomic at the start of the play, then the play doesn't proceed anyway, because Atomic's the one that Mark by 8 had the initial challenge with. Or 2, if he doesn't hesitate on the back wall in the challenge with Atomic, BDS might have had a chance for a counterattack. Either way, slight hesitation, and then a lovely play from G2 caused BDS to go down by 1 goal. Alright, so here we are in the final minute with Monkey Moon winning a great challenge. Mark gets bumped, but that's totally fine. Taking the space that's given to him by G2 to get a nice touch on the ball, very smart. This is something pros do a really good job of, is recognizing when they have a little bit of space to take a more controlled touch. Because he very easily could have just rushed this touch, like, off the sidewall or something like that. But that wouldn't have been beneficial at all. And instead he realizes, okay, Atomic's just landing from hitting this ball initially. So I probably have a couple of seconds here. I don't have a ton of time, so I can't take the ball down on a dribble or anything. But I can set myself up to get a touch in a direction that's actually beneficial for us. Which he does. He chips the ball in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, no one from BDS can follow up, but still nice use of time there by Mark, for sure. Jumping for this. Awkward double commit here. I feel like this definitely should have been communicated. I don't know if BDS was starting to lack trust in their teammates, but this is very obviously Mark's ball. So I don't quite know why we got extra jumping for this too. Either way, it works out, and then a beautiful touch off the sidewall. That makes two, and yeah, well, it's not the first interesting defensive mistake that G2 makes in this turn. Well, it is probably the first one. It's not the last weird defensive mistake that G2 makes. But yeah, I mean, you have two G2 players basically in the same spot, both facing backwards. So as soon as Mark gets this touch off the wall, it puts a ton of pressure on both of them. And they both think, okay, well, I might as well go, and they don't really have time to communicate. And then it looks like they both kind of bail out, and Monkey Moon just slots in the open net. So, unfortunate there for G2. Kind of an awkward situation where you have two players in the same spot, and you don't have time to communicate. And at the time you do communicate, you both say the same thing. So you both just bail out of the play, so you just leave the ball untouched. It's kind of the exact same situation that happened in the Grand Finals against Queso in Game 7 of the Bracket Reset Series. Is that they just got jumbled up in communication, and Queso got an open net. And same thing kind of happened here. Jumbled up in communication, more than likely, and gives BDS the open net. So, tied up, 38 seconds left. This is definitely one of the most important matches of the tournament so far, since the winner of this gets the #1 spot in their group and the automatic bye into the upper bracket of the bracket stage. This is absolutely massive. Biggest 38 seconds of the entire tournament probably right here. See kind of what happens. Really nice use of space here by Mark again. Takes a challenge, which is good. Really favorable 50. I think what he's trying to go for here is an immediate shot. You can see that he's trying to get a glancing blow off the top of his car on the right side, which would probably redirect this straight into the net. And I really like the idea, right? He has no boost, so taking this ball under control isn't really going to gain him anything because he can't really do a whole lot with it. So by trying to take an immediate shot here, he puts a lot of pressure on G2 to respect the possibility. Unfortunately, he just doesn't make contact. And actually, if he makes contact with that, it might be a really nice shot, because I think he actually scores that. Rotating around. All good, all fine. That's pain. So, this one's an interesting one, right? So, the ball comes across. JNaps passes it right to him. Now, the problem is that he has to find a way to get this around JNaps. And he doesn't really know where JNaps is going to be. Because he doesn't know if JNaps is going to, like, start boosting down to the ground, if he's going to just hover and float down, what exactly he's going to do. So he has to try to get this ball around JNaps, and unfortunately in trying to do so, he gets it around him, but also hits it a tad too high. Going for the demo on Atomic, very nice idea indeed. And then this is probably the big one. Yeah, so this is a painful sequence all around for Mark, because he hits the crossbar not once, but twice. So he has this play, where he chips the crossbar. Which, granted, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one, because he's got to get it around JNaps, so a bit unfortunate there. But then this one, man, like, it's a free shot, you can put the ball literally anywhere, and he puts it right into the crossbar. Now, I will say, if this ball is lower and is actually on target, he also shot it right at JNaps, so I think JNaps saves this if it's actually going in. But by hitting this ball into the crossbar, there's just no shot. It's so unfortunate, and I mean, that has to hurt for Mark. Unbelievable pain, for sure. In the biggest moment, you kind of just come up and have a bit of a choke moment. But you know, we're going to overtime. So, no harm, no foul, as of yet. So let's see what we get on up to here in the overtime period. Mark's probably not too happy. And the one thing I've noticed, especially with mentality, is if you make a mistake, it's really important to just forget about it and move on. especially in these high-pressure situations, because you don't need to put added pressure on yourself to make up for mistakes, because that's only going to cause you to make more mistakes. So hopefully we don't see Mark trying to overcompensate for anything in this overtime. A little bit of an awkward turn here, in all honesty. He sees Extra coming across, so I really would have actually liked to see Mark not make this turn up the wall. Just because he's kind of getting in Extra's way. Because Extra has a ton of momentum heading towards this ball, so Extra can follow this up. But by coming up the wall, he kind of gives a slight block. Not going to end up too bad. Moving downfield. Picking up Boost. Staying back. Letting Monkey Moon challenge. I feel like this is another situation that he's not trusting Monkey Moon. Because, like, Monkey Moon probably calls that he has this, and he calls exactly where he's clearing this to. He's probably calling that he's clearing it to the left. And yet, Mark still goes on the backboard. And the only reason Mark should be up here is if Monkey Moon's not going to make contact. So it's a little weird to see him up here, as if he's expecting Monkey Moon to not make this touch. Either way, works out. The ball did go up to the backboard, so maybe Monkey Moon did call up and to the left. And they just knew that was where it was going. Either way, we move on. Nice challenge here. You see, kind of, what pros do a lot is, whenever there's an opportunity, he's not going to take off backwards, right? He's going to turn his car around and then jump. And with this, he applies forward momentum to his jump, so he actually gets the ball a lot faster. If he had took off from his initial position, like right here, if he takes off immediately, he has no forward momentum. But by turning around that little bit more, he gives himself some slight forward momentum and allows himself to get to the ball a little bit faster. Really subtle things that pros do that make a big difference in games for sure. Awkward boost rotation here. I don't know if he thought that this other, like this mid boost was going to be here. But I guarantee Atomic just took this. Because you see Atomic out of the corner of your eye there to the left. And yet he still flips all the way out here. And now he's in a really awkward spot. Because he has to like rotate around the small pads when there's probably a cleaner rotation that he could have gone through the pads. That would have made that a bit easier. Good clear off the back wall. Really nice boost management there to make it out to the save. Again, this is some more just awkward, like... I understand, like, going for... But there's, like, how many pads in the middle of this field, like, currently? Because if Extra's gonna center this... Like, currently, like, Monkey Moon's flipping into where Mark was, where Mark could have just picked up some boost in the midfield and been there for this play. But it is possible that Mark just kind of defaults to third man, so if Monkey Moon can go as second man, he will. Which is why Mark just kind of backs out of those situations. Bit of a dive-in challenge. Really risky, actually, because Extra's not in a position to get back. So if you look at the way Extra's facing, Extra's currently pointing forward. There's actually no shot that he's going to get back to this quickly, because he's going to either have to make a U-turn or half flip to get back to this. So by Mark diving in here, he's putting Extra in a really awkward spot. And if he doesn't get a touch on this ball, Extra is now in basically a 1v3. Because Mark's committed, Monkey Moon's committed. That leaves Extra completely alone. And all three G2 members are facing the blue side of the field. Luckily, he does get a demo. And luckily, the shot's not in. But that is a really risky challenge to be going for, especially in overtime. This lets him go. Beautiful. Nice early jump there. Side flip from Chicago will allow him to follow this up. Unfortunately, he loses out on the boost and the ball in that situation. Again, so one of the things that's really weird is you see a lot of time pros are really good about pathing through small boost pads. And Mark just doesn't do it at all here. In any way, shape, or form. He just goes on. And the thing is, like, this ball is in an attacking position. So granted, like, yes, he wants to be in a bit of a retreat mode here. Because the challenge just happened. But Monkey Moon's also behind him. So he doesn't have to be overly concerned about a counter attack. Because Monkey Moon's already back. But if he rotates, like, rotated pads here. Like, well, let's see. Let's see what he could have gotten, maybe. He flicks on ball cam. Okay. So instead of, like, rotating this far out. Rotated, like, this pad, and then turn around in this pad. Because, like, he can rotate here, here. And then, as soon as he sees the ball go in a favorable spot, he can turn around and go here. And now he's in a spot where he can attack the ball and be in a threatening position where G2 has to worry about him. But by going all the way back, as soon as this challenge happens, and Extra gets taken off the play because he gets demoed, then G2's just like, cool, well, that's fine. We'll just continue to do our thing then. Thank you so much for the extra space. We really, really appreciate it. Mark is known for not giving people a lot of space, and he just completely bails out of this entirely. Good early challenge on Atomic there. Nice to stay upfield there, give Extra a passing option instead of making Extra do everything by himself. By doing that, he really makes it unpredictable for G2 to expect what's going to happen. So now he can really make it awkward for their defense because an unexpected touches come out. See what happens here. He does have time to get the big boost there, so not too worried. Ooh, that was close though. Awkward situation, really good flick by Atomic. I don't really think there's much that could have been done better here. Again, nice job staying upfield. So this one doesn't quite work out, but he's giving Extra a passing option. And by doing this, passing out of defense is a really underrated thing that happens. Because so many teams just try to solo play out of defense. But by using teammates and passing out of defense, it number one, gives the ball a lot more pace. And number two, makes it a lot harder for the opposing team to stop the clears. In this case, Chicago does read it. So, unfortunate there. Not much going on here currently. Kind of vibing. Being in places, making plays on the ball, making touches. Nothing crazy. He is finding himself quite low boost fairly often. And you wonder if pathing through small pads is something that he could really work on. Or if it's just this game that he's really struggling with. Yeah, a lot of times he finds himself on low boost and then he's going hunting for big pads a lot more often than I'd typically expect. Lovely control here. He's not really doing a whole lot, because with his takeoff, it's going way too far wide, and he doesn't have the boost to really do much with it. But he does make G2 come out and challenge him, and he gets a favorable 50, so works out. And again, no small pad rotation, straight back to the big boost. Definitely really deep rotations here from BDS in this overtime. And again, it is overtime, so that might be why. But they're just not willing to stay up in the play much at all. In almost any situation. Extra with a backwards challenge. You love to see it. And again, what is Mark doing with his boost here? Like, okay, so he's in net with 36. He immediately pulses down to 27 for almost no reason. Pulses down to 21 for no reason. And then he picks up another pad. So pulses down to 21, picks up a pad, pulses again to 26 for no reason. And then goes for the ball. So again, it feels like nervous boost usage for no reason. And it's just limiting the boost that he has. So he's not rotating small pads all that often. And then to just be really not using boost for no purpose is kind of surprising to see in this situation. Because you can't really afford to just waste boost for absolutely no purpose. Unfortunate that no BDS player was there to follow that up. Good challenge. A little bit of a cut of rotation here, but it's smart because Extra's last man back. So you don't want Extra to commit. Also, Extra gets bumped. So this is a really good cut from Mark just to apply pressure to G2. Good try on the beat there. Just couldn't get up in time. Good clear by Extra. Again, more awkward pulses with the boost. So he gets up to Supersonic here, so that's fine. But then he immediately slows down. Like, he could have done just the same with boosting and then a flip or a wave dash. He didn't need to use as much boost, and then that's the problem that you run into. So let's see what could have gone better here in this last play. So we'll go back to here. So Monkey Moon gets his touch, Extra goes, he gets beat, or not Extra. Wow, Mark goes and gets beat. Extra's in the back corner, so he gets beat. Extra has a decent clear out to the corner. But he gets another touch over to JNaps. But now look at the positioning of Mark. So what exactly is he accomplishing in this play? Because he can't challenge JNaps. And he isn't doing anything to protect the net. So he's caught himself in a bit of no man's land. So instead of doing this, like Monkey Moon's in the middle of the field. Like instead of going across like he does here, it would make more sense for him to go play backward. Because picture this. So Monkey Moon's just spawned. He's probably picked up like 1 or 2 pads in his rotation back to where he is currently. So you would think, okay, if Mark goes backward here, then Monkey Moon can handle any touch from JNaps after Extra gets this clear. But by Mark just kind of hanging out in the middle of the field, there's no pressure on this touch from JNaps, and there's no one to really contest it. And then unfortunately, because Monkey was just on the ground and had to go up the backward, he's going to be slow to challenge Atomic, who's still up there. So Atomic gets this touch, and because Mark is not in a position to play a ball coming straight down, you'll notice that he's backwards. If he's facing forward in any way, shape, or form out of the net here, this is an easy touch. So instead of going to the middle of the field, if he just goes towards the net, whether he goes back post and then decides to go up to backward later, or just stays back post, he's in a much better position to deal with a touch coming straight down than he is from here. Because there ain't anything he's doing here. Misposition at the end of the game cost BDS here, unfortunately. And that is probably the turning point of the entire tournament. Because if BDS gets the goal here and beat G2, now it's BDS in the upper semifinals and G2 that has to run through the lower bracket. So unfortunate situations. In the last 30 seconds, he has two open nets that he unfortunately hits the crossbar on. Well, the one wasn't open, that JNap's defending it, but he still hits the crossbar and doesn't even give the ball a chance to go in. And then a really unfortunate situation of being out of position at the end of the game that cost that final goal. And then overall, I just think boost usage was off, not pathing over small pads in the slightest, rotating all the way back when it would probably make more sense for him to rotate back into the play. And that's often something Mark Mate, I feel like, is known for, is just being chaotic and cutting rotation, coming back in over and over and keeping pressure on teams. And we just saw him rotating really far back all the time. Combine that with BDS in general, they didn't seem like they were trusting each other with their touches. You saw them positioning as if their teammates were going to miss on certain occasions, turning into where their teammates' path was carrying them. There's a lot of awkward things overall, and unfortunate for BDS because that lower bracket was none too kind to them. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this game was all Mark Mate's fault. Of course, there were two other games that they lost in this series before this. There was a lot of mistakes made by Extra and Monkey Moon as well along the way. You don't just lose in a game 5 because of one person, as Rocket League is very clearly a team-based game. Thank you everybody so much for watching, as I greatly appreciate it. If there's any other matches from the Major that you'd like me to take a look at, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. I know there is a few that I also still want to take a look at as well. If you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more pro replay analysis, number 1, let me know in the comments, and number 2, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, because we'll definitely be seeing plenty more of these coming down the line. And if you guys have any video ideas in general, you can feel free to let me know those as well. Look forward to checking all of that out. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.